Let us watch this video together. Of course, a shocking development. This is a Fulani man who supplies ammunition and gun to bandits. Thank God for the circumspect and carefulness of the locals and security agencies who have discovered this. Of course, as you watch the video, you see that this man carefully buried AK-47 rifles and ammunition in a shallow grave. You can imagine the level of expertise they deploy in all of this. I will allow you to watch the video shortly because it's a must watch. And as you watch, I want to get your comment, your reaction, secret to that. But let me quickly bring you a few areas where Nigerians, or rather Nigerian government and individuals have recorded success against insurgency, Fulani militaries, and all of that. Don't forget that we don't waste time in bringing such knowledge anytime we have it at our disposal. This person is coming from the Guardian. He's saying the Delta State Police Command has killed 2 suspected kidnappers and recovered an AK-47 rifle, a pump action gun, and other weapons during a fierce gun battle in Uweli North Local Council. Remember that Uweli axis has been an area where the communities, the locals, have been showing strength in terms of combating with the bandits. And we are seeing recent time where the locals in that area equally went into the forest or the bushes in conjunction with the police to neutralize some bandits. So I think this is equally welcome developments coming from that same axis. I think we'll say kudos to someone like Harrison Gwamishu, who have been leading the security agencies in all of this. But let us quickly look at this one that is coming from Zagazola. Of course, we know Zagazola is a security expert on Twitter. He's saying, police arrest notorious bandits, recover arms in Zamfara. Going further, I said the Zamfara State Police Command has arrested a notorious bandit, Mohammed Dankani, also known as Aki, alongside other suspects in separate operations across the state. The Commissioner of Police, Ibrahim B. Mekaba, made the revelation as we are able to understand. Watch the video and make a personal self-appraisal as we come back to further this conversation.
Estara kenan maganin akwai safiya ne ko babu? Ko akwai safiya guda daya?
Ya wuce ma haka.
Ko safiyar suna da yawa?
Yawa. Ina zuwa kana.
Dauda karba masa, karba ya shi Dauda, mun akwai gajiya.
Ya kawai, ya kawai.
Hankali.
Ya sama.
Yawa, da ya to karba bin diga. An sama na yawa. Dike.
Aka mun nan ga wani ana.
Akwai wani? Magazin ne. Yara baushe. Yara.
Kar su fashe.
Tarbon ma mai ne ba? Ba da mu ba ne tashi ban Allah. Ba mu ka kawai. Bude wannan kai kuma.
Aba kar ayin kan kullin.
Tun da riga. Allah bai ta yan kalifa ko burne da ba zai tashi ban Allah ya ga. A dole yau tare mana to ku ta kin ko ba fa a kula da gefe fa ta kin ko ba fa na tuba da biyanu a kula da gefe na sosai to hankali ba ko ya ba ki kusa da ɗan wannan kuma ga ni ne a jiki kai wannan da yaro gani wannan mene tukunya abinci ne ko radio baya haska da kifa dukan ko karba wani da ya dauka
ne gashi
yara wannan wallahi take yaro
dan jara
ya ko ya ki gige kai Allah ka ba mu sa'a karka buga dan kawai a bari kar wani ya kara
ya fara buka ba
ko dinga yara babari zo mana da yara ka zo nan ka haska mana nan wajen
kallo sawa wani
ina ku kula bindigan ka kauta ai sai dole sai an kula ta dan gari
sana kulle in da ka rike dai ko ya
yake zan rike Yuso da bamu guda biyu ko dauki dai ka hada da wace ce ba ta yi wannan magana hankali ba
kai komanda kai
wannan ba cike ce ba hada mana wannan
abu karibu da
hada mana wannan adamu hada
wannan baya yake
So, having watched the video, let me know what are your thoughts. Because for me, this is a good development. It's a welcome development because anytime we see such success, one thing is certain. It is depleting the capacity and the ability of the bandits to wreak havoc. Because any gun, any ammunition in their possession is a threat to life. I say it confidently because these are people who have no value for human life, as we can clearly see in their activities. Because we cannot imagine the rate at which they destabilize Nigerians. Because if you have a situation where, if they are responsible, you have a situation where they enter into deal with communities, with local government authorities, with even state government authorities. So why did they normally come back to start wreaking havoc? So it clearly shows that they have no value for human life. It clearly shows that the option, the only legitimate option left for federal government, state governments, local governments, is to collectively possess monopoly of currency power, to smoke them out of their hiding places, set them running, and bring them to justice. I must say it's a legitimate thing to do to neutralize bandits because they have no value for human life. Their activities is the highest level of man humanity to man. Because we cannot forget in a hurry how recently, I think in Zamfara State, how Tony Bello will adopt about 50-something persons, and it turned out that they were, ransom was demanded, I think $1 million on each and every one of them. And it turned out that those who could not pay ransom were disallowed one after the other, up to 30 of them. That is unacceptable. So the government must move in to acquire monopoly of currency power. And again, I think I continue saying that the essence of allowing the state governors to parade some level of security power cannot be overemphasized. I say because all crime is local, and the state government, this issue of insecurity is happening right at the level of states. So allow the state governors to parade some level of security power for me is the way to go. And good thing, this idea of forest guard, initiative of forest guard of federal government have come to give them that energy, that opportunity. So it beats all imagination while we see that the state governments, particularly states like Zamfara, Katsina, Taraba, Benue, and even Kaduna are not jumping at this with speed of light. I think Benue, Kwara State as well. So I think as we speak, there's every need for those states that are seriously ravaged by insecurity, occasioned by Fulani militias, to jump at this opportunity of forest guard with speed of light. But as far as I'm concerned, the best option to addressing this is through force, the might of federal government. That is why particularly I was happy when we saw the move of federal government to acquire about 50 fighter jets. As far as I'm concerned, it's a welcome development, and we cannot wait to have government take delivery of that, because as far as I'm concerned, it's going to boost the capacity of Nigerian Air Forces, particularly the Air Force, in their air platforms to decimate bandits, Boko Haram. Another issue is this lack of willpower on the part of the political class that was recently echoed by a retired military officer, talking about Lucky Rabo. And this is someone who, of course, served a different hierarchy of the military all through his career. At the pinnacle of his career, he served as the chief of army staff and even chief of defense staff, having previously served as the commander of the joint military task force. Talking about the military task force that comprised of all the African countries fighting insurgency collectively. So I think he should know better. So for somebody of that nature who even served under Muhammad Buhari, served under Goodluck Jonathan, to come out clearly to accuse or rather reveal that the political class lacked the willpower to address this insurgency. Of course, he was calling for a state of emergency to enable the armed forces moving with every force that is required to deal with these issues. So I think that takes us to the point where this current government should be encouraged to muster that willpower. Because we know that without willpower, there's absolutely nothing the government can do, the armed forces can do, because the political class controls the armed forces. Without willpower, There is not, and of course, this lays credence to the position of the current governor of Zamfara State, who came out clearly recently to reveal that they arrested a bandit leader in Bauchi State who confessed to the crime. And I boasted that he have some persons in Abuja who will help him out of the quagmire. According to him, that the bandit leader was granted bail under the order of that same alleged individual who is powerful. So that is where the president must take charge. Talking about Senator Amebola Tinubu. Because if you look at what is happening in Kwara State, I must say it's unacceptable. A situation where Nigerians are being sacked from their ancestral homes. A situation where you can clearly see up to 200 vehicles moving residents out of their ancestral homes. And come to think of it, these bandits at times are foreigners who come from different parts of the world. I can confidently say this because we have seen Muhammadu Buhari himself, his time as president, when he had conversation with Donald Trump in Donald Trump's first term in office. He made it clear that bandits are people who come from different parts of the world, particularly Libya, Mali, Burkina Faso, and other African countries, and they find their way in Nigeria. So that is why the government must rise to the occasion to protect lives and property. Because one thing is certain, the constitution is unambiguous. It has given the president, the governors, the local government chairman, the responsibility to protect lives and property. Because if you go to section 14, section 2B of 1999 constitution as amended, it's very clear that the welfare of the people and their security shall be the primary purpose of governance. More so, as the president, the governors, the local government chairman have sworn to an oath to protect lives and property. So it is a responsibility that is incumbent on them. The only thing is that let the governors be allowed some level of security power so that when they fail in their responsibilities to protect lives and property of Nigerians in their respective states, Nigerians can hold them to account. Because currently, if you seek to hold a governor to account, to blame a governor for insecurity in his state, you clearly point to the fact that he do not command the security architecture in his state. I think that best explains the reason we saw Ijona Jang as governor of Plateau State in the past, who made it very clear that even as a governor, that he did not command the fly. I think the reason is not far-fetched. Because I can clearly see that even as a governor, he did not command the commissioner of police in his state. He did not command the director general of GSS in his state. He did not command all the other security heads in his state. But I think hence, the current director general of GSS, talking about Ajayi, have made it clear that the communities should be empowered to be the first line of defense in case of invasion. I want to believe that the government will start looking in that direction. And I even want to believe that the position of the president himself, talking about Senator Amebola Tinubu, who made it clear recently that the foreign guards will be strengthened. I want to believe that the position of the Director General of DSS have in a way helped to form his opinion. Because we know the strategic position of DSS in the society, in governance. But let us see it trickling down to the point where we can start seeing results. And let us start seeing those states that are heavily ravaged by insecurity start engaging forest guards. Understand that they say like Enugu already started that. We understand that their salary is already 80,000, though grossly inadequate, but it can be improved upon. But let us see states like Zamfara, states like Katsina, states like of course, Benue, Taraba, Kwara, jumping at this with speed of light. And let us equally start seeing with power in terms of, from federal government anyway, in terms of arresting sponsors of Boko Haram, sponsors of terrorism. Because we don't want to believe some level of story that flies around the internet, where some bandits will be alleging that they are being sponsored by governments. Because even if that is the case, let the highest authority of government start identifying them, arresting them, and prosecuting them to act as deterrent to others. But we understand that some partners of foreign Nigerian partners, at some point, made it clear that they have identified some sponsors of terrorists or rather terrorism in Nigeria. I think it happened under the last administration of Muhammadu Buhari. And I want to believe that they have shared such intelligence with Nigerian government. So the question is, what is hindering the government from arresting such people, prosecuting them to act as deterrent to others? In our very eyes here, Kawu Baraje came out clearly to claim that in 2015 that they brought Fulani bandits to remove a Jonathan from office. I think somebody should be bold enough to tell him to go and remove those bandits and send them back to where they brought them from. But currently, I can say this because this issue of banditry is no longer restricted to the northern part of the country. It's already a problem for everybody. It's already a national issue. Because the terrorism, the banditry, which here happen in the north, is already being exported to the southern part of the country. So that is why somebody should be bold enough to tell the same Kawu Baraje that yes, you must go and take them back to where you brought them from. And we have even quite seen Buba Galadima in recent time coming out to make it clear that the part of the reason they drafted a Buhari into politics was to dismantle what he called, was to stop the Yorubas, the OPC, from dismantling what he called the Fulani structure in Ilore, or Kwara to be precise. This like going into the story of Afonja and Jata Alibi that happened in the 18th century, how the once Yoruba community was taken over by the Fulanis, and as we have it today, it's under Sokoto Emirate. But the point is, why are we still having that same level or this same level of banditry in Kwara State? Does it mean there's an unfinished job the Fulanis have in Kwara that they want to finish? That is why the president must write to the question, because as far as I'm concerned, those who in Kwara deserve to be protected. It's not as if anybody is questioning the monarchical system of government in Kwara State that is in the hands of the Fulani. So why are they not killing people in this manner? The president must write to the question to do the needful. To do the needful is to protect lives and property of Nigerians in that axis. Thank you very much. This is Salamira and